Welcome back, everyone. It's the Aces NFL show. Can you believe it? It's week 9 already. But look at my man, Sib. He's just come off the holiday. He's got the fresh salad. How are you, brother?
Good, mate. Yeah, a bit of a tan, mate. Just, thought I'd just spend a week away and just let you do your thing and back to business as always,
Joe
mate.
was fantastic.
That's
I missed
good.
you. I can't wait to see you. I told you yesterday, I said I've got a lot to talk to you about. But Joe, if you're listening and everyone
appreciate you popping in, mate.
Yeah, he was great. And he'll be... Yeah, it's weird to say that Joe Watson's our emergency because it was always the other way around when we used to play. We would never he would have never been an emergency.
Not in your wildest dreams, I would have picked that, but hey, I will take it.
Let's get stuck in a week 8 news real quickly.
Big.
Your first point here is the Jets are. I can't talk about them, so you take it away.
We need to talk about them.
I said I can't talk about them.
I don't want to hear it. We need to talk about the Jets, especially when you've been riding the wave for the last 8 weeks, mate. You've been riding the wave.
Mate,
they're cooked. You can't do that. You lose to the Patriots, you let them have a drive like that to win the game. Come on now.
What's going on, man?
I don't know. They're in shambles. I said it right here. They're f***ed. There's no other way around it.
2-6.
2-6 with all the weapons in the world.
5 in a row. Since Salah's been sacked, worst defense in the league.
Unbelievable. You had 20-plus points. You haven't given a turnover, and you still can't get the job done. It's unbelievable.
I don't know.
They're in real trouble. That whole division is cooked right now. The Bills are just cruising along 6-2. Everyone's got 2 wins.
Why are the Bills going so well?
Oh, their system, obviously, they just are just on fire. They just believe in what they've got. Getting Amari Cooper is massive. Coleman's just exploded all of a sudden. They are just playing great defense, sound, looking sharp. Jets have got all these stars and they're putrid.
I've got a stat for you. I reckon this is the defense's fault. I'm not blaming Aaron Rodgers. You got to lay off the cayenne pepper, man. I'll be on the cayenne pepper Friday.
Cayenne pepper.
When I had him in multi,
Tommy Morstead getting it done.
I'm going to put a same game multi on and have a little bit of cayenne pepper with me water just before it just to pep me up.
Tell you what, your rim might get a bit stuck there.
The Jets scored 20 points, committed 0 turnovers, and held their opponent to under 250 yards of offense.
Yeah.
From 1940 until yesterday, teams were 756-0.
Yeah.
When they hit those 3 metrics. But the Jets lose to New England Patriots 25-22 with that stat line.
Unbelievable.
So they are the first team in history since 1940.
Unbelievable.
So
do you know what they should have?
But
you know what they should have done? In all honesty, you know what they should have done. So they're at the goal line. You've got 1:20 left or something, and they've got their first down. They've got 3 yards to get to score.
I know what you're going to say. Let them score.
Let them score.
Have the time.
Have a minute 10. Have a minute 10 to go and get down to the offense, and all you need is 3 points anyway to get into field goal range. Have a minute 10. To be able to go down and get into field goal range and then just get into overtime, and that's the way it's going to work. Okay, you may in all honesty, just push them over. Push them over. That's how you should do it. We used to plan for that all the time. If we're ever in a situation like that and you had okay, we know they're going to score, let's give ourselves as much time. It's basically a timeout and just push them over the line and let them score. Then you go down and do it. I was with Detroit one year when we played Atlanta, and Todd Gurley was playing at Atlanta at the time, and exact same thing happened. 1:10 left.
I remember this.
Pushed through. They got him through. I think he fell down, but he was too late. He went over the line, and then Stafford went down the other end and won us the game.
There's actually a clip.
You just do it. Yeah. I actually just think you should do it. Instead, they wasted a minute trying to play defense and stop them on the goal line. What is there? 15 seconds left for him to be able to try and go down and make a play, and that's it. In terms of being strategic and being smart with it, that's really what you should be doing. Give up the points, get into field goal range, 1:15, you got weapons there to be able to do it, and away you go. But
it was sickening because they got the catch at the 0.01 yard line. So that was okay, you can't stop this. They run it in.
Just push him over the line. Just let him walk right through and do it and go, okay, let's rely on our offense to get it done.
I had the same gamer on all these sounds. Anyway, but I had Miami to win, Jets to win.
Oh.
And I'm watching Red Zone and I'm like, this is a shamble. This is unbelievable. Mate. Arizona's gone down.
Yeah.
They've been good all day. And then all of a sudden, just at the end, the clock's expiring perfectly. It's and that division. Yeah. It's they're just all huge, and Bills keep winning. It's killing me.
They're just in cruise control.
Well, they're up 4.
Yeah,
I think we'll talk about it later. There's going to be an upset soon. It has to be. You can't just. I mean, maybe not. I don't know. But one thing I know is I said I wouldn't talk about the Jets, but But they're not fucking losing this week, mate. They are not losing this week. I'm telling you. I lied last week. Devontae Adams tutty.
Excellent.
I'm telling you now. They cannot lose. You do not. You know when you go to casino, right? And it goes red. Yeah, fucking load up on black. You know what I mean? It ain't going 6 in a row. If they
do, you have to burn that. That's done.
Done.
That has to be done.
I'll burn it and I'll buy you a jersey from the Jets. Hey?
I love it.
There's the deal.
Great stuff.
100%. I'll roll in here next week with a bloody Houston Texans top on.
I tell you what. Now or never.
I know everyone's writing in. We've got a lot of comments here. Tommy, stop talking about the Jets. I'm not done yet. I lied last week. I reckon.
Well done, Tommy.
If Devontae Adams doesn't get a touchdown this week, I mean,
I'll throw up.
I looked at some stats last week. I went, has he played Houston? He hasn't played him for a while, but he has scored 2 touchdowns before. And I just think if you're the man and you're losing games, why wouldn't he be getting 15 targets? Like, why wouldn't him and Garrett Wilson
just
get 15 targets?
Just find a way. Yeah. Anyway, control your offense, A-Rod, and get it going, mate. Anyway, let's hurry up.
I'll put me favourite.
Good stuff, though.
I'll put me Micah Parsons back on now if you're listening. But,
speaking of old quarterbacks and that, Richardson. How about Richardson?
I honestly, Tim Tebow. I've said it the whole time. Yeah. He's just a big brute, and he just tries to force things, and he's just got no touch. Yeah. If you look at his history, he's hardly played football in the last 4 years, right?
Hardly played.
He's
played 12 games in Florida and to being then a number 4 pick. Yeah.
He's not. He hasn't got the runs on the board. And but I still think he's got potential.
Yeah,
But to stop putting him in early, like Flacco's balling. He's old. Like Flacco's he's only got a couple years left, but he's going well.
I agree.
So Flacco plays, great call. Yeah. They should have happened ages ago.
I don't think they should have even changed it back. I should have just think that when Richardson was injured and Flacco's playing the way he is, I think you just leave it.
They were waiting for an excuse.
I know that, and they were. They were waiting for a reason, and they got it.
But a red zone, mate. A red zone, I'm tired is bizarre. Yeah, like maybe a timeout, waste of timeout, which is even bizarre as well. Yeah. But surely it's just like
you lost a bit in the group there for sure. You're saying that your franchise quarterback saying I'm going to sub out, tapping himself on the helmet, saying I'm done. Ooh,
it's almost like giving up, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh well, it is. It's not almost. You did. Yeah. You gave up. Like it's as simple as that. So,
and that comes with a bit of experience. I reckon he just hasn't played enough.
And his stat so far out of anyone, he's the worst in terms of percentage completion rate in the history of the NFL. And going at 44% or something like that. So he's got some work to do, and it's not like he doesn't have the talent to be able to throw it to. That's the thing. He doesn't, and his O-line's rock solid to give him the time and that. I'm sure he'll continue to develop in that, but he's definitely got a fair bit of work to do. So, yeah, Flacco is back in.
Hey, if you got Pittman, I've got Pittman in one of my leagues, and you got Alec Pierce, and you got Downs. Yeah, even Jonathan Taylor, because both sides of the ball get it's exciting.
And having a little sneaky look, the Vikings give up a lot of yards in the passing game as well. So, and that's who they're up against this week. So there's a little thing for you right there.
You know, Flacco, he's like Winston. They're going to sling that ball.
He'll sling it. So, yeah. And he's still got a good deep ball, the old man. He's still got a good, pretty deep ball. So we'll see.
And he doesn't care anymore. He knows he's on the way out.
Just give it a go.
Let me just sling that thing.
Agree.
Stephon Diggs. Mate, the injuries this year, man, what's going on?
It's just like bigger and bigger and bigger each year. Talking guys are out for the season. Like, not like little niggles that maybe just one. Like, they're just big injuries.
Straight line almost, like just a little cut. And you know it's bad when no one touches you.
Sucks. And he was just starting to find his feet, I reckon, in that offense as well. Nico's out. And so Dell's going to have to obviously up the ante, but it'll be a bit of a challenge for him, that's for sure. But they need Nico back quickly.
Yeah, they do, and so does my fantasy team, which is 8-0. Just a little slide that in there, Sip. What are you guys? How are you guys going?
I'm 5-3, mate. We're going okay. We were a little bit of trouble though, and then CD just came on strong late. Late. It was beautiful to see. We're all right, mate. We're sneaking in there. Don't you worry.
Jake Ferguson cost me a stack. CD stealing all the tutties, man.
I got to do what you got to do, mate. It's about time you start throwing to the man. How does CD
get that loose in the end zone? Like, I'm like, I just need Ferguson for a tutty for a monster collect.
Twice.
I know, and I'm like, and they throw it. I'm like, CD Lamb wide open twice.
It was awesome to see. Like, literally one drive was just CD and Dak. It was 4 catches, 75 yards, and a tutty. I was like, you little ripper.
He went off.
Love it.
And then late, he's on like 70 yards.
Helped us so much because we were dead to water.
He took some great catches. Like, that one where you like dived and it was pretty dangerous. Yeah. He did the flip.
He's a freak. Yeah. He's a freak.
That's all they've got. Yeah. Anyway, well, Dallas are they're interesting.
NFC West.
Yeah. Arizona Cardinals Are they leading that division?
So 3 teams are 4-4, and another team 3-4. I think it's the Rams that are 3-4.
And it's helped Cup not get traded.
Yeah.
I think they won last week against the Vikings. If they lost, I think they were going to try ship him off.
I think so too.
It was good that McVay said he's staying here. I reckon that's a decision upstairs, isn't
100%.
it? He was saying you cannot get rid of Cooper Kupp.
No.
Cooper Kupp clearly, you guys, I saw a little Instagram post he put up.
Stafford too. There was talk about Stafford,
makes sense.
but like
if you go clean out, there's a lot of value there.
I know. Up for grabs though. Like still well and truly in it. It's so weird.
It is weird. I just think of the family element, right? Like I was thinking about Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
He's done the ACL. He's won a Super Bowl. Yeah. He's their main man. They've got Puka Nacua. They've gone, oh, well, Puka's the man now and you're getting paid the most. So if we ship you off, we get all these picks back.
Yeah.
Stafford off, we get these picks back and we can rebuild. But the whole thing's just soulless. Yeah. Like Donald's gone.
I'll just continue to reiterate that it's just business-like. It's just there's no soul in it.
How do you support a team knowing it's that business-like?
Don't know, mate.
Do you know what I mean?
Because it's all about wins.
But if like
it's all about wins, mate.
Like quarterbacks just getting thrown to the walls. Like imagine you're a young kid and you look up to these players and it's like bang, you're gone because you just need some capital.
Yeah.
Especially quarterback like Stafford. Why would you get rid of him?
Yeah,
not that they have, but they're just so hard to find a good one.
But NFC West is up for grabs, and it's
well, my future
nice
bets are gone, mate, because I've got the Jets. I don't even care. Seattle can, San Fran can win that division.
I got Miami, so we're cooked, so we're all done.
Playoff picture, we're starting to look at that.
Yeah,
I think
we'll get into it.
We'll look at that in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah,
probably more so teams that are cooked.
Yeah,
if Jets lose this week, they're cooked.
I mean, 11 teams that are like 3 wins or less or something. 11.
Yeah, I've read that stat. I think we sent that thing together.
Unbelievable. Three wins or less, something 11 or 12 teams right now in the league. It's like, gee, the race is already almost done.
Here it is. I've never seen so many bad teams in a season before. What the fuck is this? From Jones to China Instagram account. This is a guy that's written in Carolina 1-7, Tennessee 1-6, New England 2-6, Jets, Jacksonville, New Orleans, Las Vegas, Cleveland, Giants, Miami, all 2-5.
Yeah.
And then Cincinnati 3-5 and looking horrendous.
Yeah. No good.
No Higgins, no Bengals.
Yeah.
We'll keep moving on, mate, because there's more to talk about. But the Eagles have found something.
They're back. Fly will fly. They're back. They're rolling. Offense is on fire right now. Defense has actually started to come pretty good too. They're got some young cornerbacks in there doing their thing right now. And
Cooper DeJean, did you see his play on Jamar Chase?
On Jamar. Huge play. On a 4th and 2 or a 4th and 1 play, like especially in what was a minus 35-yard line or something like that. Massive play and huge change of momentum. And 3-0 now. 3-0 in the now they're flying. So 5-2 overall. Won their last 3 and they're looking pretty sharp. And they got Jacksonville this week, which they should be chomping at the bits at. So
what about that? Christian Kirk, he's honestly trade bait. He's done, and then does his collarbone
just cooked, and he's out for the year.
Is that good for him? So he stays. Not that sounds horrific, but like he's absolutely
we're talking
gone.
About how the business like and that. I think he would have liked to go to a contender now and just be used a bit more. But yeah, I mean,
where does he go? You reckon the Ravens would have taken him first?
Slot
receiver.
Yeah, you're probably pretty close. Yeah.
So the Jags have just missed out on heaps. And Brian Thomas goes down with a 2 to 4 weeker.
Yeah, he's
the
out.
Jags are generally...
So they're looking at Gabe Davis, and he has been nowhere.
Well, Evan Ingram would be the one.
Well, that's it. But like in terms of your wide receiver group, all you got is freaking Gabe Davis. So good luck.
You got no one else?
Yeah, not really. Honestly.
Gabe Davis is questionable, which he'll play, but he'll be... Yeah. You know what he's like.
There you go.
Mate,
this one's funny.
Yeah.
This one is hilarious.
Tyree Stephenson. So I want to talk about this. So if you watch the Bears game and the Washington game,
mate.
The Hail Mary, Daniels is by far maybe the best rookie quarterback I've seen. He might be better than CJ Stroud's last year. I think he is. Right? I know CJ was good, but I think what he's done,
what he's doing right now,
I think he's doing more.
Yeah,
and it's still a lot to go.
No one would have picked him to be leading their division right now. Yeah,
the just. I don't know, the poise, the evasiveness, his arm is so accurate. Yeah. The culture down there looks like Terry McLaurin I've loved for years, and he's just looks like the nicest
he just
guy.
But he looks like he's finally enjoying his football now too, doesn't it? Like he's always been a star, but he's always been on arguably the worst team in the NFL, and he's had no one to be able to like work with. He's finally got somebody that he can like trust and build a relationship with, knowing they're going to be there for a while. And he is flying right now. Absolutely flourishing.
Yeah, it's good.
It's so good to see.
It's good to see their whole footy team going well because they've struggled for years.
No doubt.
But let's talk about Tyreek Stevenson. the Bears DB who was mocking the crowd and then runs a nice arc and then taps the ball in the air. But what is he thinking? And if you're internal, like if you're at the Eagles, like what's happening there? Are they calling a meeting and they go, "Oh mate, you're like what?" Or is it just, he obviously apologized?
They'll be having a meeting with the guy individually for sure to be having a chat about it. But
what was he thinking? Like, is that just? I know they've got a lot of egos in that, but is that just something
that's just terrible, mate? Like, if that guy's clearly been in the NFL for long enough, you just know that it's not over until
the siren.
You just see that ball on the deck. That's all. That's all there is to it. Like, surely, and he's watched enough football to be able to know that too. Like, just instant karma.
Yeah,
instant karma.
It's good.
And it is what it is.
It's a good
if that's what you're going to do, mate, well then, stiff shit.
Stiff shit. I was so happy that they lost the Bears. I thought they didn't. I thought the Commanders are they play a better brand of footy. And if the Bears are going to play that sloppy muck all game, you can lose.
Giving the ball defender to your centre, like what are you doing? Like fumble on the goal line, giving the ball to your centre, like just. Sometimes football's about fundamentals.
Don't get me started.
Let's just leave it at that. Sometimes football is just about fundamentals. How about you just give it to your running back and let your centre fucking spike the ball to you and away you go. Simple as that.
Yeah. And maybe that's what Saquon Barkley can start doing because he's in my fantasy team and your man, Jalen Hurts, he keeps stealing all the tutties.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, that's another story. All right, the Vikings have been found out, we think.
I think so a little bit.
I think you saw
Darnold. A quick one, but I think that, just once you lose one, teams start to figure that out a little bit. And, 2 in a row now, so it'll be interesting to see how they go.
I needed 20 yards from Darnold passing, and as the biggest face mask I've ever seen.
Brutal.
Do you know how angry I get when I lose? Honesty, no, but how do you lose a multi, right? 20 yards, and the rest right there, and he gets a safe...
Three of them. 3 of them were right there, and it was the head umpire, it was the head ref,
it makes
the white cap head ref.
But it makes my blood boil because the rule book, I don't know how that isn't being reviewed.
Shocking.
The last 2 minutes, everything should get reviewed.
Shocking. I was down by the pool. Watching the game, and I'm feeding my little 3-month-old right here, and I've got the game right here down the corner. And there's about 6 different people in the pool there just enjoying the time. I'm like, that's a face mask. And they all just start staring at me. I'm like, what am I? Sorry. I was staring at me. I'm sorry. Big game going on.
What's going on?
I was like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, bit tough, but maybe they were still a bit shaky throughout the whole game.
He doesn't look comfortable.
The Rams just kind of just grinded out and just found out something. So it'll be interesting to watch that one.
Puka Nacua, honestly, he's something special. When I was at Super Bowl last year, I saw him. He's not that tall.
No, he's not.
Not that big.
No, and neither's Cooper. Cooper Kupp, both the same, but they're just
he's a beast.
So good. So good to watch. It's amazing how different teams are when they actually just have their star players in.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Good to see. Good to see.
Fly through. Fun fact of the week, guys.
Yeah.
Teams' combined records the week after playing the Lions is
0-6.
And this week's team?
Who have they got? So Tennessee Titans, they played last week. So they're playing. They got Patriots.
So can the Patriots keep the streak going? Well, I don't think they can, but what a weird stat. If you play the Lions, you get beat the next week.
Yeah.
Because they're physical, they're brutal, and to be honest, the Titans...
And they bury you into the ground and just embarrass you. It's hard to come back from. 52-14.
Mate, Goff had like 20 yards and 3 touchdowns.
His game for the whole game was 3 touchdowns, 86 yards.
And they had
that's what he had.
2 rushing. I think there was 2 or 3.
And a special teams touchdown.
And
so they had 223 yards in special teams.
Yeah, it was all.
So it was
Raymond.
It was Raymond, and then I think Reynolds maybe got a cheeky one maybe on the kickoff or something like that too. But 222 yards on special teams. It was more than what they had on offense.
All right, man. This is what happens, man. Where are you, man? You know, Dan Campbell at the game. Good. He's like,
so good.
That's what happens, man.
It's so good.
Like he's talking about all these boys.
We just keep fighting. We just keep fighting and digging in. We got a great team. So good.
Wide receiver Deontay Johnson from the Panthers has been traded to my boys, the Ravens.
Yeah.
He just got picked up from Pittsburgh. So that was obviously what everyone was talking about, but it's happened. So the Ravens get another wide receiver, weapon. Which is a bit confusing. I'll talk about that in a second. Yeah. We get left tackle Cam Robinson to the Vikings from the Jags to help out there. And the Chiefs, they load up from the Patriots and get Josh Uche, I think it is, pass rusher. So funny fact there, but that Josh Yushi, he took a pay cut. He got offered a 2-year, $15 million deal. He said, "No, I'll have 1 year for $3 million to stay here and fight."
Yeah.
And they've traded him as bait.
Traded him.
That's the business. Whoever's taking pay cuts, don't do it.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's all I've got for you for news. Let's get into this week because this week is big. Our best bets last week, we didn't hit our best. We had a couple of injuries, but we landed the big touchdown national tight end multi, $99. So it was big.
Very good.
Yeah, it was big.
Yeah, very good. And Kelsey finally got in there too. There we go.
Reach out. He's in Hawaii. He goes, "You're kidding. The 1 week I don't get on, I'm in Hawaii." He gets up, Haley Fritch. So the fritter's a bit flat.
Don't worry, mate. I feel you because I reckon I'm the same right now.
All right, brother. Take us through this week's games. Who's on bye? Can we start off with who's on bye?
The bye right now is Pittsburgh and San Francisco. So they're the ones that need it. And probably San Francisco really need it.
Beautiful.
A little bit depleted. So they're probably needing that more so. So they're the two teams on the bye this week. But we'll kick it off for your Friday morning matchup. Houston against your beloved Jets, mate.
I've already done it. I've been sleeping about it, right? You don't lose 6 in a row. You're at home.
Yeah.
You know what I did love? This is all I'll say. Aaron Rodgers literally said, "We trust our, our lines."
Yeah.
And defense and special teams, but as offense, we need to put up 30 points.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, they do. They need to find a way.
Now, this Houston defense is actually all back. It's stacked, but it's their offense that I'm concerned about. CJ Stroud hasn't got Nico. He hasn't got Diggs.
Yeah.
Mixon is clearly the issue here for that defense. But, I mean, the New York defense, they have to lift at some point.
They do.
And even if they let Mixon go, that's fine. I just think this could be points. And so Devontae Adams, if you're going to require someone like him.
He's caliber.
I've looked at his numbers. He hasn't had over 60, 70 yards. He hasn't had a touchdown for the Jets yet. This has Devontae Adams, 80 yards touchdown, New York Jets. For me, you get about 950. I've loaded up. Like I've loaded up. Everything I've lost over the 5 weeks, I've put it all back in.
All the winnings that he got from the tight end one, he's put on Devontae.
So I put it on 4 days ago with a bit of anger.
I'll tell you one thing, it certainly helped Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, it has.
It has helped Garrett Wilson.
Same with
but
Coleman.
It's not the guy you want to be going still. You still want Devontae to do it, but it's just like
highlights last night. Devontae Adams 1-on-1, throw the fucking ball.
Just give it to him.
Put it in the air.
How do you not know? How do you not know? You've done it for 8 years prior to that or whatever it was. I give it to him.
I think he'll force it to his back shoulder.
You just get it going. This is the week.
I just think with CJ Stroud, he's been struggling.
Houston's defense has been pretty solid though. They're only giving up 880 yards per game. So their defense has been rock solid, but the Jets just have to find a way to get it done. And it's as simple as that. But I'm with you. I'm with you. Devontae just needs to get going.
Listen to this for a stat. Houston allows the 5th fewest yards per wide receiver
Yep.
But they are giving up the most receiving touchdowns in the league.
Oh, right.
9.
Okay.
So you touchdown, maybe you can take the yards away from Devontae Adams. I'm still going to keep him in there.
Yeah.
But touchdowns to anyone in that slot.
Near the end zone and away you go.
9 so far. And
there's your opportunity right there.
With Aaron Rodgers saying we need 30 points, I mean, you work backwards. There's got to be 3 or 2 passing tutties in there. So, look, it's got to happen.
Yeah.
It's got to happen. And this is the week. And if I see Braylon Allen get goal line, you're saying keep it simple. He's a good back, but he's a young back. Just give it to Breece Hall. They keep mucking around with it on the goal line. Anyway, keep going. I'll get angry.
No, I love it. He's running hot. We'll change it quickly now. Cowboys at Atlanta.
This is big.
This is like kind of spicy.
I like this for fantasy.
Yeah, this is kind of spicy. I reckon like you could get some serious points here. Like this could be like a 35-32 type of game, and everyone that you've got in fantasy or chuck a bit of cash on, like this is it.
We could target this as our same game multi.
This could be a same game multi that we're having a lot of fun with right now. So
now Ferguson hasn't got a touchdown yet. He cost me a stack last week, but I'll be loading back up. I think.
Well, here's the chance for him to do it now.
Well, Otten scored last week against the Falcons. Yeah. He actually scored two times, I think.
Yeah.
But this is Bijan Robinson all over. They cannot stop the run.
Isn't it? They cannot stop it. They cannot stop it at all.
They are
it's
so
shocking.
banged up.
So they're giving up 372 total yards right now per game. That's a massive amount. That gets them in the bottom 6. And rushing alone, second last.
Yeah.
They have not been able to stop the run at all. They are second last. And that's a team that have like pride themselves on sacks, stopping the run over the last few years. They've been nowhere near it. So if you're looking at Bijan Robinson right now, get going.
Yeah.
Because this is a massive opportunity for him to be able to do it. And Atlanta have been good at running the ball. Like, they have been pretty solid at it. So I think they're going to be relying on Dak again to get it done, mate, and it's we'll see how it goes. But I am excited by it because I really could see both offenses kind of getting after it and being really explosive. But that's going to be a good one to watch.
Well, mate, last week I couldn't believe. So my best bet of a head-to-head was Atlanta. And I watched it down, and at the end it was nerve-wracking because they had a Hail Mary attempt and they didn't get it. But they were up, and then they had a safety that Algier, again, I don't know why he gets carries over Bijan, but he fumbled and then they got a safety, right? So all of a sudden it was 14 points and it was 12. Then Baker scored a tutty and then they got the ball back with a minute to go, no timeouts, and then Atlanta won. But what Baker did with no receivers, I couldn't believe it. I was like, he threw for 300 plus. He was throwing the ball to everyone. Yeah. I mean, it's Baker is really, really good. Yeah. Or this Atlanta team's giving up a lot of yards. And Atlanta, I thought their defense is all right. So I think
their defense is okay.
I think
their defense has been okay.
This is another balls out game for CD. Does he score? I don't know. Yeah. Ferguson has to score soon, but it's just Dak in the air. Because they've got no run game. No. Dalvin Cook, I think he had 6 carries, 12 yards.
Yeah. Rico didn't play.
He was sick. And Zeke got a bit, but he had one explosive play. I think it was his best.
He's getting a little frustrated again, old Zeke.
His best play, 14 yards this year. He's had a 14-yard run. Like it's bizarre how he can't get going. So they're throwing it. They're behind all the time. But this is, if you want to go on form, Kyle Pitts last week was enormous.
Massive.
And if you look at what George Kittle did, he ripped them last week. He had 128 yards, 6 catches and 1 tutty. So Pitts, Bijan Robinson, and on the other side, it's Dak, it's CD, and I think Ferguson can score because it's just one of those ones. How long can he not score for? They've only got 2. Him and Tolbert are the only other options.
That's it. They don't really have any.
Maybe like a Turpin.
Well, Turpin only out there like for short little spurts and that. He doesn't get a lot of like game time and that's
play,
it.
But mate,
I agree.
I love Bijan Robinson again. He's been really good, Bijan. Since we just lost on the 100-yard rushing, he's gone for 100.
Fire, so he's been very, very good. So I think Atlanta in that one though. I think Atlanta should be able to get that done.
Yeah, to be honest, I'd be staying away from head-to-head just because I don't.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
But I don't see any, there's no...
Games are at 5 a.m. as well now.
This is big.
Massive.
Can you just look down their cameras? They've got some...
Games are at 5 a.m. now. Fantastic news for everybody. So I know we've been doing the hard yards for the first few weeks, 3 a.m., 4 a.m., but this is perfect timing, guys. 5 a.m., next lot of games at 8 a.m., beautiful. And guess what? Very, very exciting stuff.
Primetime games on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday, 12 o'clock. You can get your work done, and you don't have to worry about that 11 a.m.
Excellent stuff. So we had to get that in there. 5 a.m. starts now, everybody. So
Australian Eastern Standard
very,
Time,
very,
so
very
assuming
good.
You're on the East Coast.
That's right.
But that is big, especially for my sleeping patterns.
Love it.
And you know what happens? You start punting a bit. You start punting a bit better because you're not so tired.
Concentration levels are just upped a little bit, which is great.
Nowhere. Putting on these tight end national tight end multis.
I had to get that out there, so it's good stuff. All right, division game.
Big game, this one.
Big game. Buffalo and Miami. What do you think there?
Buffalo, Miami.
Buffalo absolutely destroyed them, by the way, last time too.
They have Tua's measure,
and
something
shocking. That was Tua's injury too, but yeah.
Tua's record against this mob is so bad. But at some point, it's got to end. Now,
does it end in Buffalo? I don't know. Starting to get a little cold up there.
It is. Mostert's back, and I love A-Chain, and I love Tyreek Hill and Waddle. Everything's there for their offense.
They looked better, didn't they?
But the defense is just not there. So
just woeful, isn't
it?
They're another team that has to score 30 to give themselves a chance to win the game.
The value play this week is Miami.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a big game because if they lose this, their season's done.
Yeah.
If they win, there's a massive chance because if the Jets win, they win.
It's a big swing.
It's a big swing.
It is.
But this is a huge game for the Bills because they win this, they are completely locked in.
Yeah.
Like unless something
drastic happens and stuff like that, they can't lose the division. I wouldn't have thought from there. 7-2.
I'll have a little bet on Dolphins to win because of the value, and I think I've lost a lot of money on them over the years because Bills have just smacked them. Yeah. But the record is Bills will beat them.
The only thing I'll say, like they lost last week, probably shouldn't have to the Cardinals, but it was nice to just see at least Tua back out there and their offense starting to run a little bit better. Like Devontae Chain, like off the charts again. Yeah. Like he's almost RB1 when Tua's playing. Like he's just some serious points that he puts up from fantasy and that he's great value. But the Bills are just finding ways. And they do have Miami's measure right now. So I can't see that changing. So Bills for me, Tommy.
I'm just looking at some stats here.
Yeah.
The Bills have given up the 5th most adjusted yards per catch and attempt, so that's great for A-Chain.
Mm-hmm.
And he was
massive against them last time as well.
They've allowed the most receptions and receiving yards. So if you're looking at a stat, A-Chain gets a great matchup here. But yeah, look, Marvin Harrison erupted last week, 111-1, and that means that's Amari Cooper's role this week. Cooper's been down.
Yep.
The guy that's been dominating is Shakir. Shakir, he's catching all of his targets. He's like a Amon-Ra St. Brown. He's just the only little ones, but a lot of receptions and it's yards after carry. It
just helps their offense massively. So it allows for them to be able to get those potential explosive plays. Yeah, last 2 weeks
he hasn't had the best defender.
Yep.
Yeah, so, you know what? I just think this could be a really good fantasy game as well. Like there's a lot of offense there. Hopefully Miami go up early because that means Bills have to get going. Otherwise, they'll just run the ball out. But the history says Miami gets smoked by the Bills, and I just hope they can get them back because I'm sick of seeing Miami get smashed by the Bills because they've got a pretty good team.
I know for how good both teams are and like how good Miami's been, it's incredible how one-sided that matchup has been. So, starting to get a little cold there up in Buffalo, so I don't know if the Dolphins will like that. So I think the Bills should be pretty safe right there.
I'm just looking at the weather report now. It's not too bad, but it could be a bit windy and rainy. So that does suit the run game, though, if you've got most of A-Chain in the backfield and Tyreek Hill for the big play.
But the other thing is, too, on the Miami side of things, with the defense obviously struggling, too, Cook's been going really well, too. So it'll be interesting to watch. But, very good again for the old little same-game multi if you want to. So that's there. That's good. Far, next one, Tommy. Huge.
What is it?
We've got the Raiders at the Bengals.
What is going on with the Bengals,
Puchy.
So that my research is when Higgins is in, they're great. Yeah. When he's out, their offense is non-existent. No, the other one is Gesicki gets way more receptions when Higgins is out.
Yeah. Their run game has depleted like massively as well.
They've got no Chase Brown's catching back.
Mixon's been a massive loss for him. I didn't think that would be the case. I thought maybe Zach Moss would kind of come in.
Zach Moss has never been.
I know, but kind of fill in a role and just, see how they go. But it's completely shut itself. Mixon has been arguably the biggest loss for any team from last year into this year.
Been the biggest loss, but I reckon he's having a career year.
He's having a career year.
Like his numbers are off the charts.
His numbers were good last year as well.
He wasn't that explosive, though. I feel like he's at it.
Last year I thought he was pretty solid. The few years now he was pretty quiet, but I thought last year he was pretty darn explosive and got him going and really helped him out. But their run game is shot to pieces. And all well and good, you've got the guys to be able to pass it to. But as you said, if one of them are out, good luck. And I still think they win this. I still think they should win this game against the Raiders because they're even worse. But don't know. This is not one I'm really too keen to worry about.
I thought the Raiders were quite impressive against the Chiefs. I thought that Mahomes would just blow them out.
Yeah, but that's always going to be like that. You spoke about it last week, and that it's always going to be like the rivalry. They're always going to trying to get themselves up for that game. I just think that they put so much effort into it, and it could be a little bit of a blowout, maybe. But I don't know.
Cincinnati allow the 8th most receptions per game and the 8th most receiving yards to tight ends. Brock Bowers is leading the league in receptions at the moment. So if you want to look for someone for yards, you can get on Brocky Bowers. He's been very good. Saquon Barkley, he went off last week. Alexander Madison might be able to get to work. Look, I just think
you're going to see some passing. You're going to see some passing in this game for sure because the Bengals are 5th last in the comp for rushing yards at 89.8, and the Raiders are 2nd last, averaging 79 per game. So fair to say you're probably going to see some passing in this option here. So that's one to look out for.
Yeah, I'm looking at the key matchups, but on the trends, it's not like they're giving up a lot to their receivers. I was just looking at Jamar Chase here, and it's saying the Raiders allow the 8th fewest receiving yards to receivers aligned out wide. Now, Jamar Chase is built differently. But I don't know who else is going to throw it to if Higgins is not playing. So, look, I'm going to skip. Let's skip over this game.
I think Higgins will be all right.
This game is a little bit average.
Yeah, I think the Bengals will be all right, but we'll move on. Next one. Chargers at Cleveland. This has got a little bit more interesting.
Like this a lot.
Yeah, I reckon this has got a little more interesting after what we saw last week from the Browns. Like, obviously, Jameis Winston just doing his thing, and it was pretty cool to see.
So Ward's out. Ward's out.
And Ward's out, which is big
so is their linebacker. Someone else, I can't remember his name, but I was listening to my podcast.
It's big for the Chargers, yeah.
Two massive players out for Cleveland on defense.
And their offense kind of got going last week a little bit finally. They've been a bit slow, relied on the defense a lot. Their defense has been exceptional. But the offense finally got going. Granted, you're playing the Saints, so you probably want to be doing that. But yeah, I think the Chargers are maybe starting to get their game going, and little Lad McConkey was pretty darn good.
What a name, Lad. Oh, Lad McConkey.
Love it. Love it.
What we did say pre-season, Lad McConkey and Brian Thomas were two names that meant a bit to us. Just the Lad and my old man's name and me name. It's like, you said Worthy. Yeah. They've been pretty good.
Yeah, they have been.
Like all the other receivers have been all right, but they've been the main. And then Leggett, go. I don't know about my accent. He's been unbelievable, Leggett. When he gets a tutty and he rides the horse.
He's going to be even more important to that Carolina team now that Johnson's done it.
It's so funny, man. He rides it all the way to the bench. That's what you should do. Next time you get a tutty, Harrow.
Take my horse to Town Road.
I got some, it's just some. So Denzel Ward, he's going to miss with a concussion, which is massive for Joshy Palmer. I reckon Josh Palmer's been lost. The Chargers
nowhere to be found right now.
But the Chargers, the last 3 weeks, Herbert's averaging 35 pass attempts. Right, first four weeks, I think it was like 24 almost. It was low.
Yeah.
They're throwing the ball now, and without Denzel Ward, I think Josh Palmer can get out the back. Now, Lad McConkey is what they're saying.
Yeah.
But Lad McConkey went off last week, and I just feel like if I'm the offensive coordinator, I'm drawing a play where they think it's Lad, and out goes Palmer. Yeah. And Palmer's a great wide receiver. Yeah. When they're throwing the ball and their offense is going. Like when Mike Williams and Ken Allen there, Palmer would always be down the field.
Deep option.
So I just think he might be my touchdown scorer of the week at value because he hasn't scored one, I don't think, and he'll be good. But Jameis Winston, I watched a little clip on Sleeper. They have a guy that used to play for the Packers. He cuts up all his footage. But, man, he was absolutely balling.
Yeah.
He threw 2 terrible passes that should have been picked by the Ravens. Outside of that, he was slinging that thing into gaps. He was just like... He had full confidence in what he's doing. He's like, you know what, if I don't get it there, whatever. But he was just ripping that thing, and it's that hard to stop. And, mate,
it was good
Tillman come alive. We gave everyone that tip. But Elijah Moore, the guy that we've been on for, I've been on him for 3 years.
Yeah, Elijah Moore was very good.
In the slot, he's just going to get fed. So receptions take the over. I just think it's a different team.
Jerry Jeudy in that, did his little part too. But Moore and Tillman were massive.
I hope this is up and down. The Chargers defense has been stopping teams.
They have been very good.
Can this become a bit of a 30-30? You know, I don't know. But I hope it is. Jameis, I'm just so glad to see him out there.
Yeah.
But Bo Nix is the only opponent to throw multiple touchdowns against this Chargers lineup. So what does that tell you? Does the Chargers played enough? I don't know, but look, this Chargers defense is good. So
they are good. They've been very, very good. So yeah, I like it. I like the matchup. It's certainly got a lot more interesting.
Chubb's the one actually. Chubb's the one.
Yeah.
James Conner turned. I think he had 19 carries for 101 rushing yards. It says here, and 51 receiving yards 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So if they're going to exploit them, it could be by the run game.
Yeah.
And that's when Jameis can let the things. He can go off play action, but. I think Chubb for a tutty in this game, it wouldn't be bad as well.
Yeah.
But, man, there's a lot of good games. So I'm getting a bit excited, actually.
It's good. It's good. Love it. Next one, though, is not no good.
What is it?
Patriots against the Titans. Come on. I mean,
Pollard touchdown, that's me done.
Yeah, I don't like it at all.
When you trade, can you just speak to me about 2 things quickly, Sid?
Yeah.
One, the weather. It starts to turn now. When does it get really cold? And when do we start focusing on running backs?
Middle of November is when it starts to probably turn a little bit and get a bit fresh.
And do we start seeing way more touchdowns from running backs?
I'd say you start to see the run game start to happen a little more, particularly from the obviously the outdoor stadiums and things like that. But certainly that weather starts to change a little bit during I reckon middle of November, particularly for the teams up north. Yeah.
And my second question is, when you lose a player in your locker room that's very well respected by trade, does that deflate the group?
I think it would have to. Like I personally, I hadn't experienced that in my time when I was there. Like if anything, Detroit kind of just kept the same list, and they tried to get someone in there to try maybe help out just in patches. And then obviously with Philadelphia, we were just trying to get anybody that we could to really, make sure that our list was strong because we were obviously pushing to obviously, win a Super Bowl. So we hadn't really had anybody that, got traded out that was like kind of the heart and soul of the team. But it'd be hard not to just, feel that way, with losing such an important part and a guy that's obviously a real good locker room person to therefore come out and try and play and you're not hearing that same voice and it's a different voice doing its thing. So yeah, it has to affect it in some way. There's no doubt.
I reckon it does.
Yeah, for sure.
I reckon that streak might be ended. I think you got to think that they'll fire back. It's at home for Tennessee.
Yeah.
I'm going to read out the report here I've got.
Ridley questionable though, so that's an interesting one as well. But he was massive last week. But yeah.
I'm just looking at New England allows the 4th most rushing yards.
Yep.
And Breece Hall and Allen last week combined for 112 and 1 touchdown. So look, this week Pollard, he's my guy.
Yeah, and he has to get going too, I reckon,
well,
for sure.
Patriots,
but
not much chop.
No.
And I think it was Bigsby 2 weeks ago in London. He absolutely lit them up. So that's why I can't believe the Jets lost last week. I would have thought Breece just pounds it and they throw it to their 2 receivers. But so Pollard, great lineup. Let's keep moving because I'm not talking about that game for too much longer.
No. Excellent. Next game that we have here, we are going with Washington at the New York Giants.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Geez, the Giants were rather impressive.
They were patches. Okay, weren't they? Their second half, though, they definitely died off. Pittsburgh just kind of fanned them out a little bit. And
TJ Watt's a star.
I know. I love him. He's great. That 2-point conversion, though, what
was going on there? Why are they going for that?
I don't know.
They're down 8. They kick the field goal at 7.
Shocking.
They miss it. Now they're down 8.
Yeah, don't know.
Then
I know it's only a 1-score game still technically, but just fundamentals, mate.
That play, they reckon they do that all the time. And if you watch it on slow-mo, it's as bad as you'll see. It's like honestly watching under 10s.
It is putrid.
No one was even ready.
What is going on? No idea. Just shocking.
I don't know why a team who can't throw a touchdown. What's he thrown? He has hardly thrown a touchdown pass this year.
Yeah.
And they go, we'll go for a 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
What's the point of that?
I don't know, mate. I got no idea.
Anyway, we'll move on.
Moving on. But I think Washington should be all right there for that one. So another one, I reckon this is going to be just a one-way fare like it was in week 1, New Orleans and Carolina. Kamara's just going to be having an absolute field day. He's going to be on this. Carolina's arguably the worst team I've seen in the NFL for the last 10 years.
Yeah,
and they've just traded away their star wide receiver, and you put Bryce Young back in and he's got no one to throw to. Just throwing that young kid under the bus. What are you doing? We'll stick it out for another week, mate. Andy Dalton we'll just chill, just we'll trade away our best wide receiver and then we're all good. Come on, mate.
I don't know.
They're dead last in rushing defense, so Kamara is licking his chops again. He had a field day against them in week 1 and nothing's changing.
Is that our best bet of the program?
Yeah, that's me.
He's not injured because they said he had cracked ribs a couple
he's
of
all
weeks
right.
ago.
He's had cracked ribs for the last month. He's fine. He'll be right. Put that in. Guarantee it. Charles Barkley, guaranteed.
Adam Thielen apparently could return. That's a positive. And the other one that I don't think anyone's talking about, and this is a good one for people out there. We gave you Tillman last week. Now, you should already have this guy, but Jonathan Brooks could make his debut.
Yeah, he could.
But this is concerning if you're a Panthers.
If you're a Hubbard man.
Yes. If you're a Chuba Hubbard, trade that man because this guy's meant to be the best running back out of the draft, and he might ignite the offense. Maybe. He might help.
Yeah, their running game hasn't been too bad. They just haven't been able to stop anything, absolutely anything. But he could be a good little stash for you. So yeah, certainly if you've got Chubb right now, you probably need to start looking elsewhere as best you possibly can and see if some little dummy doesn't know much about football to try and trade with quickly. But I just think New Orleans are just going to be able to just be in cruise control and they'll just get another win on the board.
Carolina, they're allowing the 8th most adjusted yards per catch, so Kamara will catch it, and the 2nd most rushing yards. Yeah. To running backs in the league. So there you go. There's your smash hit for the week. On stats against, they got no receiver. Yeah. You got old mate under center who, to be honest, they didn't play to the final sign last week. They were down by 3 touchdowns. You could just load up on Alvin Kamara.
I think so. Just load up. Whatever you got, just put it on him. Away you go.
The only thing I want to say is just be mindful of Taysom Hill. He's sat out with a chest injury, but he returned in week 8, and he's a snake on the goal line.
He's a snake on the goal line. I'm not worried. Like, it is what it is on the goal line. I just think that, like, he's just going to run the field. I think Kamara will just be everywhere else. Like, maybe not the tutty. Like, so I would just kind of...
You could do both.
You could do both. But I just think that just in terms of rushing yards, it's just going to be a field day for him. So, yeah. Next one, Denver and Baltimore.
Yeah, interesting game.
So interesting. This is the big test now for Denver. Denver are going all right now, 5-3, right? Have they played much? I'm going to say no. So they've played the Saints. That were depleted. Third string quarterback is in. And, of course, do your thing. They played Carolina last week. Should be able to win that game. No worries. So their record looks quite good, but now they're going to be going through a bit of a tough patch now where they play Baltimore this week. They haven't played the Chiefs yet at all in their division, so they've still got 2 more times of that. But, in saying that, Bo Nix has kind of found his feet a little bit, found his way, and they're going okay. But I just think now is going to be the period of time where now they're going to be really tested, and it might be the Denver that we saw maybe in week 1 or 2, and Baltimore will be too good.
Patrick Surtain will go to one of the receivers. It might be Rashad Bateman. I'm not sure, but whoever he goes to, he ain't going to get a yard. Yeah. The second thing is the Ravens don't let you run the ball. I think it might be Flowers, but he's a bit banged up, Flowers, at the moment. Anyway, Deontay Johnson comes in. We'll suss it out. So if I'm looking for anything, the Broncos give up the 9th most receptions to tight ends. So Mark Andrews, likely, that type of thing. But it's Derrick Henry for me. Yeah. I think Derrick Henry, Kenneth Walker in week 6 went for 101 and a tutty. I think J.K. Dobbins also went for 96 and 1. Denver are giving up a few to running backs, and I just think that if it's a game for me, Baltimore respond by just feeding the king. Yeah. Did take a big hit last week for the first time ever. And the other one is the Ravens do not let you run the ball. No. So you might have watched Javonte Williams get 2 touchdowns and run the ball against maybe the Panthers or the Saints a few weeks. It was the Saints, I think it was, who were depleted. Yeah. He ain't doing that. The one thing they do give up, the Ravens, is they're the 4th most receiving yards to the position, so he might get a couple of catches out of the backfield. Yeah. But Bo Nix is going to have to scramble, and that's another thing the Ravens haven't allowed. If you go back to the Washington game, Daniels...
Yeah, they've always got their eyes on the quarterback.
They've got their eyes on the quarterback. Yeah. Roquan Smith ain't going to let you go. Yeah. So Bo Nix, if he wants to run, he's going to get absolutely smoked. Now, if he can get away from he can get to the second level, he's out. But these are the stats, and it's like you can't run the ball. So can you throw it? Yes, you can. Yeah. Who's going to throw it to? Yeah. Probably Sutton. They've got a couple of young receivers, but this is a different game for the Broncos, and I'm really interested to see how Derrick Henry and the Ravens offense goes up against this defense, because the defense has been good
too. And they're playing at home, have to respond. They'd be obviously pretty shattered with the last week's result. So
it could be an ugly game.
It could be an ugly game.
Could be an arm wrestle, but Derrick Henry just gets him going in the last quarter.
Yeah. Jacksonville at Philadelphia.
Jeez, Jags.
Talk about ugly. This could be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
With the way Philly have been going in the last kind of 3 weeks, and the way that the Jaguars defense is going, this could be really, really ugly. So, obviously AJ and Devontae have been really getting going the last couple of weeks. Have looked really sharp, and more importantly, Jalen has actually looked after the footy. Granted, as we spoke about a little bit off air, it's probably helped that Jalen's been playing in front, so he can play a bit more of that kind of, casual game. Feeling good about that. So it is obviously more about when he's playing from behind, what he does and forces it. But right now, they're in a great position right now, and I just think this could be ugly.
Yeah,
I really think this could be ugly.
It's not good. I'm reading a stat here. If you have AJ Brown in your fantasy lineup, well, you can get excited. Yeah.
Passing yards, they're 31st right now is the Jaguars. So they're giving up 270 yards per game. So that's an absolute field day with the weapons that you've got on offensively. Jalen is throwing the ball a lot better. So that's already alarm bells, to be honest, from the defensive point of view for the Jaguars. And then I don't know much about, I'm not too sure in terms of their running game. I think the running game, the rushing game, they're going okay, but you also haven't come up against a guy called Saquon Barkley and the offensive line that the Philadelphia Eagles have, and it could just be, let's just get a lick of the ice cream this week. I really feel that. Not many games in the NFL are like that. They're extremely tight, one-score games, but it could be ugly.
Josh Jacobs went for 127 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns last week. Saquon Barkley's a better back.
Way better back. And I think they've got a bit of a system in that too. I think it just could be.
The other thing that's ugly is Jacksonville giving up the 3rd most receiving yards to receivers aligned out wide, which is A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
So you could go A.J. Brown 100, Saquon Barkley 100, both for a tutty.
Yeah.
And I don't know who you're going to throw the ball to.
You're not stopping him.
Evan Ingram is the only guy. Yeah. He's the only guy who I think, and Gesicki, he has been quiet this year, but he posted 73 yards and 7 catches last week with Higgins out.
Yeah.
Now Higgins is out, which meant they only had Jamar Chase.
Well, that's right.
Well, that's a bit like this week. They've only got Gabe Davis.
That's right.
So you'd think he has to throw to a tight end.
I think it's similar to
and Ingram's the only one he's got. So this is very simple for me. And the Jags should not be winning this game. It should be Philly the way they're playing. It should
I really
be easy.
think it should be like a 3-score game, to be honest. I think they should be winning by 21 or something like that and just really it's an absolute bloodbath. And they need to do it too, I think, Philadelphia. They played so well last week. That was big. 20 points against the Bengals there. Tough to do. Good on them. Now at home, make a statement.
First quarter? They've been struggling in the first quarter.
I think they finally did. I think it was a field goal.
Wow. But they scored 30 or 40 points,
They scored 37 points. So they were down 10. They were down 10-3. I think they finally put 3 points on the board in the first quarter. So that's their first points they've got all year in the first quarter.
It took.
And then the floodgates opened in the second half. Defense lifted. Offense was in great field position and just absolutely destroyed them. Deep ball started to work for them again, like Devontae's 45-yard touchdown in the end zone. Like that's the Philadelphia that we've seen over the last couple of years. That's hard to beat. So I think they're just starting to gear up and look really, really strong. So
love it.
Yeah, watch out. Next one that we've got here, Chicago at Arizona. Not sure. Arizona are first in their division right now and actually going okay.
Chicago's defense is good, man.
Their defense is good. I think that's probably helped them out a lot. The offense needs to get going. Bit surprising with how much power that they've got on the offensive side. The running game's lifted, which we spoke about probably a month ago. That's certainly helped them. I don't know. Like, we haven't spoken much about the Cardinals, and they just are kind of finding ways.
I don't like this game at all. I think the Cardinals' defense is not great, and I think the Bears' defense is. DJ Moore was hardly cited last week. So all I'm going to say is DJ Moore and move on because this game doesn't excite me at all.
Yeah. Arizona, though, are averaging 338 per game yards.
Well, if you look at...
It's not bad.
Like Washington last week, they're explosive, right? They could not get anything going.
They averaged 396, so
This defense is good.
Yeah, they're rock solid.
And it ruins games when it's good. And his offense, like Caleb Williams, he's just not as good as he's going to be. Oh, he's so young. But he doesn't have any there's no momentum in the game. Like you watch it stop, start. Like the game in London, he played the Jags. The Jags give up the Philly might score 50 against them this week.
Seriously.
So he comes up against an Arizona Cardinals defense, which is pretty average.
Yeah.
I expect DJ Moore and I expect them to get a couple of touchdowns. Komet will get involved, but they're just not consistent for fantasy. And I don't like watching their games because they are so good on the defensive side that it's boring.
Yeah, agree.
It's a bit boring.
It's a good point. No, you make a great point. I think that's good. We can safely say and move on. This one's a big one. I love this one. Detroit, Green Bay at Lambeau.
I'm hearing Jordan Love might be playing.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard it wasn't as bad as what initial signs were.
He must have strained his groin, which is an uncomfortable position. Look, I just can't go against the Lions. I love them.
They're the best team right now.
Yep.
In the NFC.
They give up a few yards. They give up points. They still win. I really like Jahmyr Gibbs. I think I said last week, Montgomery, he rolled his ankle. It's only minor, but he looked fine last week. But it's just, it's a little roll. But it's just, you can clearly see Jahmyr Gibbs getting involved more, Laporta.
Their offense is firing on all cylinders.
Amon Ra, will he get
He'll get Alexander.
So I don't like
He got a little banged up as well, though.
Yeah, I don't like that matchup. So I'll be looking for Laporta again. I thought he got going.
Yeah.
But it's the run game.
They just got so many weapons.
Yeah.
Right. Tough to beat. But Green Bay, again, Division ones are always hard. Like, in Green Bay are just finding ways. Like, their defense has definitely lifted in the last month. They've been really, really strong in the last month from a defensive point of view. and they're obviously you don't really speak too much about their offensive side, but they've got weapons. Like they've got some really strong young guys that are just doing a great job. And Jacobs has finally got going too. But how can you go past? I mean, how can you really go past the Lions right now? You can't, can you? You just can't.
No, I can't. And I really like them.
Completely dismantled teams at Lambeau, which makes it a little bit more interesting. But Detroit over the last couple of years have played some really good really good football there, and I think it continues.
Yeah, I'm going to go with them, and I just love the way. I mean, this game, I've got nothing that stands out to me. Actually, I think it's one of those ones that Green Bay spread the load a little bit, depending on the quarterback. You don't know, but Detroit give up touchdowns and yards, but they score quickly and they score often. So it's great. It's going to be a great game to watch.
It'll be a good game to watch. Yeah, you'll love that one. Next one, Rams and Seattle.
Oh, well, what a big game this is.
Yeah, massive
Seattle
for the division.
Is severely banged up on defense, and it's killing me because I think that they're playing all right football, but their defense, it's just they don't have enough there to stop.
Geno leads the league for passing yards.
Yeah, because they can't stop the run. They're playing from behind.
They cannot stop the run.
Kyren Williams will eat.
Yeah.
On paper, Kyren Williams.
Oh, yeah, Kyren Williams. That's also another one that I'm...
Yep.
Yeah.
Kyren Williams.
I'm all over Kyren Williams right now. So fourth last for rushing defense right now, Seattle, giving up 148 per game.
Their D-line's cooked.
It's just a world of hurt right now, and they're putting too much pressure on the offense to get going to win them games. And, I really like Kyren Williams on this one.
I didn't think he'd score last week. Me and Job said we think that the streak will end because we generally didn't think that the Vikings would allow the rushing touchdown, but he got the receiving touchdown.
I told you, mate. He's still there, and he still ran for 100.
Yeah, I know. He still ran.
For 100.
So he's a beast.
He's different. He's different.
He's got no one that's taken his carries.
He's scored a touchdown every game. He's clearly number one. He's a third down guy.
They got Puka,
and they just have a great system. Like that. Some teams are like, yep, they're really good at stopping the run. They're really good, but sometimes there's just teams that are extraordinary at running the game, like running the ball. And I think that's what the Rams are right now, especially with him. He is just different, and I think he is going to be on an absolute tear this weekend. It's going to be a huge day for Williams.
Yeah, and I think you look at the receivers. I don't know where DK. I think he might be DK Metcalf's still out. So it's Najigba, it's Lockett, it's whoever there, but they're just banged up. Seattle. It's a bit unfortunate. I really, really like Kyren Williams in this matchup.
Yeah, I love him too. It's safe to say I might have him a bit later on.
Yeah, well, you've had him a few times.
Bets. And mate, I haven't been wrong with him yet, I reckon. So I might as well just keep feeding. I might as well just keep feeding him. Just keep feeding him, mate. Just doing these ones like Zeke, just instead for Williams this time. So
love it.
that one. I think you've got Williams written all over.
What games you got left, mate?
We've got two left. So the marquee games coming up for your Monday night and your Tuesday night.
Bruce Caesar.
Here we go. So we got the Colts at Minnesota.
Okay.
Like you would have looked at this. I reckon you would have looked at this at the start of the season and gone, geez, why would you have put this up on a Monday night game? It's different now. Like this is big. Like quarterback change for the Colts. If they can win this game and the Jets get it done against the Texans, like they're one game behind in their division. Massive.
Yeah, it's a big game.
The same with Minnesota. They're still racing for their number one spot too, and for the number one seed, in fact. So this is big. I really, really like this game too. And when it comes down to for me right now, my biggest fan right now is Aaron Jones.
Yep.
The Colts Colts have struggled a little bit for their rushing defense as well. And I think Aaron Jones should be licking his lips right now. Colts are third last right now in the league, giving up 151 per game. And Jones and their run game right now has been pretty solid. So if I'm Aaron Jones, I'm licking my lips right now, and I think the run game is going to be a pivotal part. Because when it comes to the run game for the Vikings, I know they got found out last week against the Rams, but overall they've been pretty solid. So I think Taylor might find it a bit tough, but Flacco can be throwing darts. That's the weakness. That's the weakness for the Vikings right now.
Yeah, well said, man. I'm looking at the stats here, and it's an absolute green light for a receiver at the Colts.
Absolutely.
So you think
Pittman, Downs, Pierce,
depending on Pittman's back, but it's maybe you just go passing yards 100%. To Flacco.
Yeah.
But on the other side of the ball, it really is a nice matchup there for Jones. He's got the light green, so it's not the dark green, but it's as good as it gets.
But it's a solid matchup for him too.
Yeah, but he's been running the ball well. Like he's gone for 94 yards, 93 yards 4 times this season out of his 7 games, and this is his best matchup since Green Bay back in week 4. Where he went for 93. He's only had the 2 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown, but he hasn't had one for a week. So I think this is a good week for Jones to get over. Yeah. They'll get the run game going.
I think so too.
And Jefferson will clearly
Extra
be
bit of break for him, playing on the Thursday night last week. So a bit of a mini break for him, freshen up. And I think they look pretty strong.
The guy that I was a bit disappointed with last week was I just thought he's got so much to give and they weren't targeting was Jordan Addison. And he actually put up something like, I don't know what he put up. It was a bit of a code word to say I'm open. But I think it was free. I think he said free me or something like three's free. Whatever number it is. I think it's 3. He goes three's free. But he's been really poor this year and he hasn't had enough targets and he gets it's an amber light, but Jefferson's going to get double teamed. So I just think Jordan Addison is someone I like for value. I like Flacco for over and I don't mind Jones for a rushing touchdown. That's something that I'll do for that. And I'm going to lean away. I'm going to stay away from the result.
Yeah, I think this one's going to be closer than what we think. The odds kind of don't give it that look right now, but I think right now $2.90 for the Colts and $1.42 for Minnesota.
Stay away from
and I just think I'm going to stay.
It'll be a one touchdown score.
But it'll be good to it'll be good. There's definitely some value for some same game multi there for sure. And as I said, I really like Jones in that one. So that's a big one. I'm actually really looking forward to it because as I said, start of the year I wouldn't have probably been, that's a bit of a nothing game. But yeah, I think there's some complications right now as we're getting closer to the playoffs. So that's good. Here we go. Your Tuesday game. Now I'm a little bit flat with now the injuries that have occurred on the Bucs side. It's a bit of a shame.
Goblin Evans.
It's a bit of a shame. Like, you look at this 2 weeks ago, you go, this could be good. Defense is going really well for the Chiefs and the offense is firing for the Bucs. But, geez, it hurts. Anyway, it's the Bucs and the Chiefs for your Tuesday morning. Evans is out. Godwin's out. The Chiefs defense has been on fire and they add another weapon. And I think that really there's 2 guys that I'm looking at. It's Patrick Mahomes.
Yep.
And it's Hopkins.
I was just about to say, don't drop Hop. It's got to be this week, doesn't it?
It's Hop. Like, it's just, they are depleted in the secondary. They haven't been much good, actually, for most of the year, to be honest. They're still doing enough to win games because the offense is going really well and their D-line's their D-line. They when they need to get it done, they can. But I just think it's the week.
Oh, yeah.
Hopkins just should be everywhere and finding creases, just finding gaps, finding lanes, and Mahomes just should be throwing darts. That's me. That's me in a nutshell right there.
Yeah.
And chuck in Hunt for a tutty as well if you really want to. But Mahomes and Hopkins.
Bucks. Yeah, I love it. And Kelsey scored last week, but Kelsey, if you want to go by form, Pitts dominated against them last week. London dominated against them in the first game, and then they shut him down, which was a bit annoying. But I just don't think you can shut down Worthy, Hopkins, and even Watson's a guy that runs so many routes and gets no reward. He'll be paying a lot. But this game, the Bucks just allow so many passing touchdowns from quarterbacks, and Mahomes is looking for a bit of confidence. I thought he'd throw another. He
threw better last week.
He was all right, but he's still not at his best.
Yeah.
But Hopkins, new player, feel good, get him a tutty. I just can imagine it's a Mike Evans setup where it's one-on-one outside. I'll just throw it in the air. Mahomes will literally put it right where he wants it, and he'll get an easy matchup. So that Hopkins, I'm going to write a lot of my multis into Hopkins just to finish off the week, and I'll have to sleep on it. And I said I would never sleep on it. But I love that you said Hopkins.
2 weeks ago, he said he wasn't going to do that, ladies and gentlemen. He said Tuesday mornings kill me, and I can't do it. But guess what?
He's back. I would never talk about the Jets either. But the Jets are back, baby. The Jets into Hopkins' best bet of the year.
Oh goodness me, good stuff. Well, that's it. That's our preview for this week.
There's a lot going on.
A lot.
There's a lot going on.
Some interesting matchups. I really like it. In a way, there's some matchups that just kind of can shape it a little bit. And of course, we're talking about the goddamn Jets.
What a year to waste your energy on a team.
Seriously.
Mate, let's
You're not
get
the only one, mate.
Hey, Philly, there's a lot going on for you. We've got our team, Ravens, Jets, Philly. It's just we've got our 3. Yeah. You know, I go for 2, and it's all going pretty well.
It's good. And the Giants.
And we like the Lions. I think you tipped the Lions for Super Bowl.
I'm a big fan of the Lions. Yeah, I love them. So
TJ Watt, you tipped a couple of crackers, by the way. If you revisit our early shows, your futures are looking good.
Defensive Player of the Year, TJ looks pretty solid right now. So yeah, it's good.
Sip, we obviously had our Mitchell and Ness competition, and we're going to read these out now on the podcast. But to Jackson Glenn and Connie Sue Neck, you are the winners of the vouchers. So you'll see your names on our social media. Mitchell and Ness will be contacting you. But thank you so much. Check your DMs, get your prizes. Thank you to Mitchell and Ness. Man, Sip, we've got some cool plans. We're seeing your messages. I'm hearing a little Telegram group chat going soon. I'm just working out how to set that up. I use that for business. Now it's going to be a bit of NFL and pleasure. But some people that are writing in their ideas, we love it. We got all your hot takes last week, and I love reading them out. You guys, you make me laugh when I read out your hot takes. We always incorporate them into our show notes. But Sip, as you can imagine, there was a few people that were off me last week. I should read out a couple right now, but mate, a few people. They said, Tommy, enough with the Jets, mate. Enough with the Jets. They're just.
You may as well ride them all the way, mate. You may as well. We
better read out a few. Benny Gertz said Bo Nix is the best rookie quarterback this year. So there you go, Sip. We also have Caleb Dickens. He reckons Bo Nix is better than Caleb Williams. Bo performing so much better than and less help around him. Probably true.
Yep.
Who else do we have? Jed Millard. He reckons Jameis Winston's interviews just before the Ravens game. What a man. He is the best.
It's so good.
He's a rare unit, man.
He's different.
If I could get anyone on the podcast, I'm starting to think it's him. Yeah. And it's bizarre to say that.
But it's excellent. It's excellent.
Speaking of...
Fancy quoting Eminem on your after game.
Even before the game.
You only got one opportunity.
Yeah.
Once in a lifetime.
Lammy
Don't
says,
let
I
it blow.
hate the Jets. They have ruined all my multis. Lammy, get on this week. Tommy can no longer talk about the Jets. Fake franchise from Joshy Hilda. Jets suck from Sean Riley. Oh, my God. There's so much here. Chiefs three-peating. We're getting a lot of your
good stuff. We appreciate it a lot. It's excellent.
Nicky Moz said, I need to take a couple of weeks off the punt and reset. Well, no, you don't. You got to get on the feed, mate, and get a couple of big ones. But
let's love it.
Yeah, it's very good. So, yep, thank you. Scotty Price also said the Jets suck. So, mate, it's great to see all your hot takes fresh after the week. Thank you to everyone that tuned in. Stay around. We've got our Best Bet show coming up for week 9, so stay right here. But to everyone else, have a great weekend and hope your fantasy team is 8-0 and flying. See you later.